Beautiful friends, what's up and welcome back to the Loosely Bound YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing some of the best books that you can find on Amazon in this Amazon book haul. I ordered so many books from Amazon that I'm actually going to split this book haul into two separate videos. I ordered about 16 different books, so I'm going to be doing this part 1 video that shows 8 of the books, and then there will be a part 2 coming up to show the other 8. If you're interested in seeing what other books I got on this book haul, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the Loosely Bound YouTube channel, and make sure that you ding the notification bell so you get an alert when that video is posted. The first book that I got from the haul is Traffic by Ellen Hopkins. I've read a ton of Ellen Hopkins novels and really enjoyed the majority of them. Traffic is actually the sequel to an Ellen Hopkins novel called Tricks that I read about a year or two ago, and Tricks was so haunting and dark and disturbing. It tells the story of 5 different teenagers that get sucked into the world of sex trafficking, and it is just a wild, wild ride. So I've been waiting quite a while to get my hands on Traffic, and this is going to be the first one that I actually read out of all of the haul books that I've gotten. If you've read any Ellen Hopkins novels before, you're familiar with her really cool prose style of writing. Each page is written a little bit differently, and it's not in your standard cover to cover, corner to corner filled with text format. They're written in a really cool way, which sometimes can tell you a little bit of a hidden meaning behind what that character is thinking. I am super excited to check this one out, and I cannot wait to get into it. The next book that I grabbed is Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellefleur. This is the first Alexandria Bellefleur novel that I've ever picked up. I typically don't read a ton in the romance genre, but I actually found this one as a recommendation through another book YouTube channel, and she just made it sound so good and such a cutesy, lovey-dovey story that it made me get it for myself. From what I understand about this book, a girl's brother sets her and a friend up on a blind date, and it just goes terribly, terribly wrong. But the girl is so sick of her brother setting her up that she pretends like the date went really well. Then the brother goes back and talks to the girl that he set up with his sister and tells her how well his sister thought that the date went and how much she enjoyed the date and blah, blah, blah. The girl that was set up is totally shocked and confused by this news because the date went horribly, but agrees to go along with saying that the date went well just so the brother will lay off of his sister's back. So I think it's got like some rom-com, romance and comedy all mixed together in there, and it just seems like it's going to be a really fun time. So I'm excited for this one. Next on our list is The Cabin by Natasha Preston. I've talked about a couple other Natasha Preston books on the channel, and if you guys have watched the other videos, you know that I kind of compare the Natasha Preston books to Hallmark movies. Like whenever it's the holiday season, you can't help but watch those cheesy Hallmark movies, even though you know exactly how the plot is going to play out, and there's nothing special about them. They're just so addictive for some reason. And that's how I always feel about Natasha Preston books. Nothing blows me away, but I still love reading them for some reason. I don't understand. So I knew I had to pick up another Natasha Preston book on this haul just because they're very, very quick. It's always a good story. There's nothing, like I said, that is over the top or mind-blowing or anything of that nature, but you just know that you're going to be having a good time when you read these books. I can usually knock the Natasha Preston books out in about 3 hours or so. So it's good for like one of those lazy afternoons when you just have some time to kill and are looking for a really good short read. The Cabin is that timeless story of friends that are hanging out at a cabin in the woods and somebody ends up dead. So then they have to figure out who the murderer is and see if anyone else happens to get killed while they're there. So I just know this is going to be one of those that is like a guilty pleasure, and I'm excited to dive into it like I always am with Natasha Preston books. Then I grabbed I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I saw the trailer for this on Netflix and I didn't even know it was a book, but I added it to like my watch list so I could remember to go back and watch the movie because it looked so trippy and so cool, and it looks different than other things that I've watched recently. So when I was looking for books on Amazon, I just stumbled across this one. And once I realized that this was the book to the movie that I've been wanting to watch, I immediately threw it into my cart because I was like, yes, I have to read this. The back of the book says you will be scared, but you won't know why. It's an NPR Best Book of the Year, named one of the year's best literary fictions. It has a ton of good reviews, and I'm just super duper stoked to dive into this one. And actually on the cover and on the back of this book, there is no summary like you typically find, but just from what I picked up from the Netflix trailer, it looks like a girl and her boyfriend are going to meet his parents. Presumably she's meeting them for the first time, and when she gets there, all these weird things start happening. So it seems like just kind of trippy. There's something mental happening. So she'll replay the same sentences in her head over and over again, and she notices something weird happening with like the pictures on the wall and just all of these weird things. So you can't tell if the girl is just like tweaking out or just what's going on. I have no idea. So I think this one should be really, really different, and I'm looking forward to it just tripping me out. Then I got Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes. I have been wanting this one since before I could even finish You. I knew that I was going to want to read the sequel. So if you guys haven't read You, or if you have read You and just want to get my take on that, I do have a review on that. So check that up here or here somewhere. I don't know where it pops up, but it'll be up there somewhere for you. I read You a few months ago and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It was just amazing. Caroline Kepnes does such a wonderful job of telling a story through like a psychopath's mindset. So even though the narrator and the main character of You is a crazy person, you're still on his side and you just really want him to succeed, and I just think she's an amazing author. Hidden Bodies picks up where You ended. Like I said, if you want more information on You, check out my review on that, and then we'll talk Hidden Bodies after I finish it. The next book I grabbed is The Haunting of Rookword House by Darcy Coates. Darcy Coates is quickly becoming one of my favorite authors because she just writes true traditional horror stories, and they're always so good and they creep me out so much. Horror is my absolute favorite genre when it comes to books or movies or anything. I will always choose horror. So to find these books, this isn't even like a thriller. These are like actual ghost stories, and they're just awesome. The Darcy Coates books that I've read so far are not super long. They don't take you a long time to get through. The font isn't super tiny. There's not a ton of pages in the book, so you just get a good story without a ton of filler. So it's just nice because it gets you directly to the point in the plot. Darcy Coates tends to work with a really common theme throughout a lot of her stories that I've read so far, and it seems to be very similar in the Rookword House. Basically, someone gets left a house or they end up at a house, and it's always an old house, and it's always a house that's miles and miles away from any other houses or businesses or civilization, and then all of the spooky stuff starts happening. The characters also tend to be like on their last legs, so they can't just move out of the house. They have something they're tying them to the house, whether they're stuck because of a storm or they can't leave because they're broke and have nowhere else to go. And Rookword House seems to be following that same pattern, but I do think that is like a timeless horror story plot. So even though it's nothing totally new and nothing that's really going to blow you out of the water, you can just count on these books for being very good. This is absolutely one of the ones that I am most excited about reading out of this entire haul. This is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I'm also very excited for this one because this is my first physical copy of a Riley Sager book. I've read 3 of his other novels, and I've read all of them on the Kindle app on my phone, so I'm excited to actually dive in and get the true Riley Sager experience from a physical book. And also, just look at how pretty this one is. It's all like green and yellow, and the cover just looks so awesome and eye-catching, and it's just gonna look so pretty when it's up on my bookshelf. Home Before Dark looks a little thicker, but I think it's just the hardcover giving it this illusion of being bigger. because once you actually look inside of the book, the font again is not that big. So I really don't think it's gonna take too long to get through this one either. But Riley Sager doesn't honestly need to do a ton of work to make a really amazing story, because everything that I've read from him has just been so twisty and turny and just keeps me guessing every second of the book. Home Before Dark also has a ton of really good reviews. Josh Mallerman, who wrote Bird Box and Mallory, said there's nobody writing scarier books than Riley Sager is right now. So if the Bird Box author thinks Riley Sager is doing something right, that's how you really know Riley Sager is doing something right. I'm sure Home Before Dark will be one of those books that gets a full dedicated review just to itself on the channel. So make sure that you are subscribed and have notifications turned on so you can check that out after I finish reading it. The last book that I'm going to share with you guys for the part 1 of this Amazon book haul is Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. I have no idea how to say that name, I'm so sorry. I got the idea to read Fight Club because when I was home for the holidays, we were all talking about the movie and how good it was and how we all wanted to see it again. And it really made me want to read the original novel because I've seen the movie countless times, but I've never even picked up the book. The first thing that I noticed when I got this in the mail is how freaking short this is, right? Like, this thing is absolutely, it is small. And I just thought, for such a crazy story that blew away the entire world with that twist at the end, I thought there was gonna be a lot more to it than this. So that was the thing that I would first notice, was just, this thing is not as hefty as I thought it was gonna be. Font size seems pretty typical as well. And yeah, I'm just shocked that they got all of that into this little amount of book. There's like nothing there. I just know this book is going to be a wild ride, and I might do a full review on it later, but I'm not really sure because, you know, first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Alright guys, that's all the books that I'm going to share with you for today's part of the haul. Like I said, there is going to be a part 2 where I share the rest of the books that I got from this Amazon order with you guys, so make sure that you stay tuned to check out that video. Also, if you're interested in checking out any of these books for yourself, I'll leave links down below so you can easily find and order those. If you guys have read any of these books before, leave a comment and let me know what you thought of them, which ones were your favorite, or which ones you think I should maybe hold off on reading. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!